Welcome back, everybody. We've been talking about ways we can pick better stocks in less time, and I've been breaking down the different tools that I've been using to do it, including AI-related tools like Notebook LM and ChatGPT. Well, Seeking Alpha just released a new feature to their premium service, which is right up our alley doing similar things, and it's called the Virtual Analyst Report. So in this video, we're going to break down the new Virtual Analyst Report feature, including any pros and cons of using it, talk about how it fits into my own stock analysis process, and who the feature and Seeking Alpha Premium more broadly makes sense for. So let's go ahead and get started. Like always, full transparency, I am a Seeking Alpha affiliate, but as you guys know, I only promote products and services that I actually use and the ones that you actually see me use in all my videos. And when I first noticed the Virtual Analyst Report, I actually reached out to my Seeking Alpha rep, like, hey, what is this thing? Is it part of Alpha Picks? And they were like, nope, this is new for every premium subscriber. So I was like, oh, we definitely need to talk about this. Now, the Virtual Analyst Report is the first AI tool that Seeking Alpha has launched, and even when you hover over the button, it says, use generative AI to compose an up-to-date, easy-to-read company report. And this is a trend that we've been seeing across many different websites and research tools where they're trying to integrate generative AI to provide additional context and information to what they already do. And to me, this is where the real strengths of the Virtual Analyst Report come through. But let's go ahead and dig into it. And we'll start off by looking at Meta. It shows some basic information about the company, then the overall Seeking Alpha quant rating for the stock, which in Meta's case is currently a hold. Next, we get a detailed company description, which is nice because it's more in depth than the normal 10K looking paragraph that we normally get. This has some additional context and detail about what the company does, their different business segments, and what they're focused on and known for. And I think it's easy to overlook something like this because you're like, oh, it's just a company description. But what I love about it is in 2 to 3 paragraphs, you get a really quick overview about who a company is, how they make their money, and what they're focused on. Now, next up is competitors and unique value, where you get a quick breakdown of who their major competition is and what makes them unique compared to their competition. And if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know that these are the type of things that I think are really important anytime we're trying to evaluate the actual business of a stock that we're looking at. And it really mimics the type of things that I've been doing in my own research, which we're going to talk about here in a minute. Next is their ratings breakdown for the stock, where it combines the ratings for all the different categories together, including valuation, growth, profitability, momentum, and earnings revisions. And what's nice about this is each rating is given a sentence or two, so you get a bit better understanding of what's driving that particular rating to be what it is. Now, past that, we have a section that shows the analyst sentiment for the stock, which is similar to the bulls say and bears say. And this is specifically taken from contributors who post on Seeking Alpha. So these are going to be unique to their site. And what's nice about it is you can always dig into the particular points of view by going directly to the full analysis that the blurb is taken from. That way you can dig into the positive or negative comments in a little bit more detail, get the full context to be able to make up your mind about it. And I think that's really one of the common themes when we talk about the strengths of the Seeking Alpha platform. Then lastly, there's some quick links here at the end to specific investing group leaders that have analyzed the stock, industry-specific ratings list, and just general analysis about the stock that you're looking at. Now, towards the bottom of each one, they give you a background on the Virtual Analyst Report and how they view it as different. And I think there's some really good things here to highlight. They mention the crowdsourced wisdom of Seeking Alpha analysis, as well as this part saying that AI tools frequently struggle to provide reliable guides for investors because the sources on which they base their answers or recommendations lack a proven track record in stock picking and are frequently written by journalists or marketers rather than investors. And to me, this was a really interesting point that I hadn't thought about. Like when you use a tool like ChatGPT, you know that it's trained on a more broad model where things on the open internet like blogs and news stories are written about a company, but maybe not specifically with an investor point of view. So the fact that they have a bunch of analysis, they have a bunch of news articles that are really written by and for investors makes it to where their Virtual Analyst Report should be a little bit more reliable than just a broad AI chatbot. So even if you may not agree with all the contributors on the site, you do know that they're there as investors who are trying to make money from their decisions. So overall, I think there's a lot of positives for the Virtual Analyst Report feature, but before we talk about how I'm using it in my own process, let's talk about some of the downsides of using the feature. Because while the Virtual Analyst information is good, it's obviously not going to be perfect. It suffers from some of the same issues as things like ChatGPT and other models suffer from. While it's nice that it's based on the opinions of actual investors, just like any piece of information, it's going to be limited to the thoughts and opinions of the contributors that have provided information about the stock. So while a well-reviewed stock like Amazon will have a lot of info to go on, lesser-known stocks and companies may have less information to choose from, so you just need to be aware of that. And a good example of this is Cloudflare, which you guys know is a stock that I added a few months back. The Virtual Analyst Report is good and touches on most of the same things that my own personal analysis did. But one thing that was missing is a discussion on Cloudflare's potential in edge computing. They do touch on it by saying that Fastly is a competitor focused on edge computing, and then also they say that the company's extensive global network allows for scalable and efficient delivery. But they don't really talk about the potential of Cloudflare as an edge computing leader, specifically as AI inference needs really grow exponentially. And to me, that was one of the biggest reasons that I wanted to add it to my portfolio, and just happens to be something that not a lot of people are talking about. So if it's not in any of the current analysis from the contributors on the site, it likely won't be in the Virtual Analyst Report. So like I say about everything, it's another piece of information we can use, but I would never recommend anyone use something as their sole source of information. But that does bring me to my next con, because it's so easy to use that people may just skip the rest of their research. And this really isn't a Seeking Alpha issue, it's more of a human nature issue, because the more dependent we are on these tools to kind of do the thinking for us, then the less likely we are to really understand what we're actually invested in. The Virtual Analyst Report is an amazing tool to jumpstart your research and give you a very quick idea if a stock is worth digging into more, because it turns something that could take you hours into something that you can do in minutes or even seconds. But it's still up to you to do your due diligence if you want to move forward with researching a stock more completely. So if what you're looking for is something to help you save time in your process and to do that initial screening much quicker than you could do before, then it's a perfect feature for that. But if you're looking for something to basically do all the thinking for you so you never have to look at anything again, that's not really what it is. Okay, so that being said, let's talk about how I'm actually using this in my own process. Now, I recently did a video about tools I'm using to pick better stocks in less time, and I specifically talked about AI chatbots like ChatGPT that I'm prompting to get info on companies. And what you might have noticed is that the type of things I was looking for with those tools match up a lot with what's being provided in the Virtual Analyst Report. Who they are as a company, what are their business segments, who are their competition, and what makes them different from their competitors. So for me, this has been another time saver where I can get a really good overview of a company, specifically ones that maybe I'm not all that familiar with, and I can do it with a lot less effort and time than I spent before. Because in this case, it's simply a click away, and Seeking Alpha is the ones managing it and updating it for me over time, instead of me trying to find that old chat history that I created one day. And part of what I think is cool about it is that since it's based on aggregating Seeking Alpha analysis, as the contributor pool grows, as more analysis articles get created over time, the more information they'll have to go off of, and these reports should keep improving. So when I look at the things I evaluate for stocks, especially on the business side of the equation, they've made a lot of those things even easier now because I can access them within Seeking Alpha without having to go to another tool. Plus, it acts as a quick filter for me where I can see some of the high-level thoughts in an article and then deep dive into it if I want to learn more. Okay, so let's talk about who this feature and Seeking Alpha Premium in general is best for. And the nice part for me is that since I'm already subscribed to Seeking Alpha Premium, this ended up just being a free new feature that popped up that complements the rest of the service really well. And I think that's the best way to try to determine if the cost versus value really makes sense for you by looking at how all these things work together. Because who I think Seeking Alpha Premium is best for is people who are investing in individual stocks and doing their own research for companies in their portfolio. And the reason is because it has a nice suite of features that allow you to do all that in one place. You get access to all the analysis on the site from Seeking Alpha contributors, which also includes access to the comments on the articles, which honestly sometimes is where you can find the most insightful ideas. Like to me, the comments on the site are just as valuable as the actual articles. Plus you get other features like seeing their ratings and metrics across valuation, growth, and profitability categories. You get access to unlimited earnings call transcripts, being able to see 10 years of financials, getting access to all their earnings estimates going forward, as well as access to unlimited news and articles. And so now when you add on the Virtual Analyst Report, it's just another feature that allows you to quickly get up to speed on a company without having to go somewhere else. And for me, since I'm already doing most of my research in this tool, it's just another great feature that saves me time, and I really like that. But here's the thing. The most frequent criticism that I hear about Seeking Alpha is that the contributors to the site aren't, quote, professional analysts, they're just amateurs. And I've actually responded to these comments before on my channel, but I just wanted to touch on it here too. What I think people don't realize is that maybe in the past, before the internet, having a quote professional analyst made a lot of sense because they had access to information that other people just didn't. But now with the internet, it's a much different story. And again, we should never take one source of information as the ultimate truth. We should always look to gather information from multiple places and then make up our mind as to what we think about it. Which again is one of the reasons why I like Seeking Alpha more than, say, something like Morningstar. Because with Seeking Alpha, I get a wider range of thoughts and opinions on each stock. With Morningstar or any other professional analysis sites, you're getting one analyst for a company a lot of times. So you're only getting one person's perspective without anybody else's thoughts or comments. And most importantly, without being able to see any of the history of performance for that analyst. Whereas on Seeking Alpha, stocks have many different analysts with differing opinions that I can pick and choose from, plus comments where people sometimes strongly disagree, where you can also gain ideas that you didn't have before. But for someone like me who's looking for a wide variety of information so I can kind of dig through it and make the best decision, that is way more valuable to me than just having one quote professional analyst report. To me, the real benefit of Seeking Alpha Premium is getting to leverage the research and effort of a bunch of other people so that you don't have to recreate all that research yourself. It allows you to focus on the parts that you think are the most interesting, get ideas you otherwise wouldn't have had, and pick better stocks in less time. Which is why I've continued to use this tool to do my research over the past couple years, and now saving me even more time by creating this virtual analyst report that allows me to start my research with a literal click of a button. Now, if you're interested in trying the Virtual Analyst Report, check out the link in the description to get a 7-day free trial to Seeking Alpha Premium. And if you decide to sign up after your trial is over, you'll get $30 off. Now, if you're already a premium subscriber, let me know what you think about the Virtual Analyst Report feature down in the comments. Now, if you guys missed my full review of Seeking Alpha Premium, you can watch that by clicking this video right here. Hope you guys have a great day out there. Financial independence is true freedom, so keep building and stacking wins, and I'll see you on the next one. Peace.